vapes. I think vapes are so gross.
Doodle whistles.
Just have a good old fag.
Yeah.
And never get sick of eating Mexican food over here. Have you been eating it?
I've been living on salad and cigarettes. It's about the healthiest thing I can find.
That's the CMC diet. At least you're on cigarettes and not on vapes. I think vapes are so gross.
Doodle whistles.
They're gross, aren't they?
I don't like them.
I'm like, if you're going to do something, just have a fag.
I know what's in tobacco.
Yeah.
Or at least we know what it's doing to
us.
We've got no clue what these...
Well, and they're so addictive.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cheapest 20 deck you'll get is probably 45 or 50.
Will you buy a couple of cartons and take them home?
You can't. You're only allowed to take 2 packs home.
Hide it in your luggage. My family does not do that when we come back from Bali.
G'day mates, it's your host Mary O'Neill Phillips and you are listening to Country Outdoors Podcast.
All right, everyone. It's Mary here from Country Outdoors. I'm here with Jarrad Wrigley from Farmer Wants a Wife in Australia. He's also a rising country music artist who won Star Maker in Australia. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, really good. How are you?
I'm great. Before we went hot, and guys, we're filming here for Country Outdoors Podcast. This will air in a couple of weeks. You were telling me this is your first time leaving Australia.
Yeah, I've never left before. I'm pretty lucky with the whole Star Maker thing. I mean, I don't come from, much money background, so to have my flights and accommodation provided for me because of that competition was just literally life-changing. I've never left Australia, and Star Maker made it possible.
So for people that are listening, Star Maker is like a big country music competition in Australia where you compete, and he won it. So, yeah, they've paid for him to come over here, and he's been performing at CMA Fest.
Absolutely.
And catching up with all the American Farmer Wants a Wife boys. You probably, if you go to their social media, you can see they all went out on the town last night together as like a crew of about 10 of them, the farm boys from around the world, all rolling as one little crew.
I can confirm that the Australian farmer drinks about as much as all of the American farmers combined. So, okay. And no hangover either. No hangover.
Let's talk home. Where are you from in Australia? Queensland, obviously, but
so Queensland. So the first 10 years of my life were actually spent around the Ipswich region, and then we moved. Mum and Dad moved rural because every weekend and school holidays, we would go to the family farms. They'd both have to grab onto one of each of my legs and try to pull me off the balcony because I didn't want to leave. I just want to drop out of school and be a farmer is what I wanted back then. And we moved rural, and for the last few years, I've been on a small sheep station outside of the Stanthorpe, the town of Stanthorpe, which is on the New England Highway just towards the border.
Mm-hmm. And what are you doing on the station?
So I work with sheep and cattle.
So you're shearing and just doing everything with the cattle?
I don't shear.
You're not a shearer?
No, I'd cut their damn head off.
Okay, well, because where my farmers in New South Wales is Crookwell, and it's like big sheep country, and so I'm surrounded by boys that really are very good shearers. So I'm glad that you didn't claim that since you suck.
Oh no. Well, and that's the thing, Farmer Tom. He sends me messages all the time. He's like, so have you learned how to shear yet, Jarrad? I'm like, Tom, no, I'll leave it to the professionals.
I'll stick to my lane.
There's a reason we pay them to do it. It's only a couple bucks, but we'll do it to them because I'd rather pay someone $4 a head than me go and kill a $120 animal.
Yeah.
I'll just worry about chasing them.
So tell me this, because, diesel prices obviously globally have been terrible for everybody, and I know it's been a nightmare here for the farmers industry in terms of even just putting diesel in your tractor and working the fields and all of that. Has that affected you guys much?
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, we can complain about it, but everybody needs to eat, everybody needs to sleep, everybody needs to drive. And so, especially when it comes to agriculture and you've got so much more of fuel consumption, it has impacted so many of my mates to a point where, we've just sold off most of the livestock at home. On top of the drought, the diesel prices have just completely buggered it up. I know a few people that when the diesel prices soared as much as $5.50 a litre is what I saw. I actually put up a post about the whole fuel situation, which went pretty viral back home. And I think even news companies were talking about it, politicians were talking about this post, and I had people sending me photos, and the worst I saw was $5.56 per litre for diesel, which for Americans, that would equate to about 15 American per gallon is what fuel got to back home.
Well, and not to like talk a whole bunch of like politics and stuff, but since we've got some Aussies here too, and you know, we all know Australia has had such severe drought for like everybody's entire life, my entire existence. So these data centers that are just popping up everywhere that most people have no idea what is going on, and where they're, you know, most of Australia obviously is like towards the coast where people are living. Even if you're rural, you're like probably within 10 hours of the coast. They're putting these data centers all over Australia. Most people have no idea that they're coming, and the amount of water that they take to fuel these data centers is going to send the country into like way worse drought, all of that stuff. And the same thing is happening here too. They're drying up all the rivers and all the dams and stuff. So just kind of throwing that out there too is something for people to look at when you get back home. But yeah,
just so a bunch of teenagers can make videos of
Chat
Will Smith
GPT is like
spaghetti.
all of that stuff, all Facebook, Chat GPT, anything AI is like fueling it. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But
if I'm hunting with a gun, you know I'm running a bog death grip tripod every single time. The one that got away still haunts me. Ugh, and I promised myself I'd never miss again for lack of a steady rest. So when that once-in-a-lifetime shot shows up, there's zero reason not to get locked in, get rock solid, and send it with confidence.
what do you think of CMA Fest?
Oh, it's mental. I only realised yesterday, having been here for, I don't know, the last week now, I only realised yesterday it's more than just Broadway.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like I just thought Broadway was CMA Fest, but no, it's on a complete mega scale here.
Yeah.
You know, and the amount of people you bump into. I mean, God, I was out of some random pub out of town probably about 4 or 5 nights ago, and there was about 15 people in the bar. I was playing pool, and all of a sudden I look over and go, "Oh, g'day, Zach. How are you, Mr. Top?"
Yeah.
Zach Top.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
having a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
so-
you introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, we were speaking shit together. You know, it was good. It was really good. And you know, like I was on this stage over here yesterday, that spotlight stage, and I didn't see him, but Randy Travis, you know,
Yep.
went on by.
Everyone's just cruising around.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the amount of celebrity culture in America is on another level. You know, back home, pretty much the most that you get as a celebrity is, "Oh, you chose the wrong girl."
Hey, well,
Or-
we have a thing called tall poppy syndrome, which
Yeah.
keeps us all humble, but it's also difficult for when you're pursuing an entertainment career. So there's pros and cons to it. I think that the con for sure is like it's hard to pursue it, but the pro is, yeah, you don't get too big for your britches, which is a good thing too.
Yeah,
You know,
I suppose so. And I think, look, there's a way of being confident and knowing where you stand as an artist, as a social media personality, or just a stereotypical celebrity, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think it's pretty good to stay confident, but not become some real arrogant,
yeah.
too good to have a conversation with anybody person. You know.
For sure. I'm sure all the ladies that are standing around here that watch Farmer Wants a Wife wants to know, have you found love since you've been here, or just at all in the last couple of months? Have you got a lady back home? What's the story?
I have not, no. Even Channel 7 couldn't keep me a girlfriend, so...
Could you tell us a bit about
that
your
I've lost their
experience on the
support.
show, like what we didn't see on the show?
Well, look, it's a little bit unfortunate. So basically, the way that it actually works, you've got a producer living with you the whole time, and yourself and the 5 girls, you're under the one roof. Unless, well, they've changed it now because of certain drama that happened on my season. Not from me. I want to say it. I was
Were
very
people
respectful.
sneaking around in people's rooms?
Well, look, there's a whole process about that. You have to, sign waivers for, if you were wanting to go on Fandangle with someone, you have to sit down, have an interview with your producer you live
So
with.
weird.
Tell them what you want to do, how long for, where you want to go,
Oh!
like everything. It's really good for getting in the mood. So because of that, I just made the decision. I said to the girls, right, girls, that's my room. You can come into it if you need help. Otherwise, do not bother me when I'm sleeping.
Good.
And I'm glad I did that way, because I heard stories from other farms where the guys had a different approach.
They were like, hey, girls, this is my room. You can come into it. Full stop.
You can come into it, and we're sure nobody will hear with these paper thin walls. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
a great
exactly what
idea.
your parents and grandparents and everybody want to hear when they're watching the
Absolutely.
show, and they're like, why did you do that? That's
yeah.
so embarrassing.
Absolutely. But look, the thing is, unfortunately, the way that TV is at the moment, the producers only want to show the 0.5% of the time where there's the drama, and you don't see all the nice parts, which is what I reckon should be shown. You know, you don't see the nights we were sitting by the fire just telling stories of our childhood. You don't see the parts where, hey girls, I've got to go get firewood. Do you want to come, like, jump in the ute? I'll show you some pretty cool spots to look at the stars. You don't see any of that.
Yeah.
You only see, oh, he macked on with another girl, and oh, blah 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 blah. Like, you don't see all the actual wholesome stuff that makes that show as wholesome as it is.
Yeah, I was telling the boys yesterday. So we had John and Matt from Farmer Wants Wife America on here yesterday, and I was on The Bachelor in Australia in 2014. I was the first intruder that came in. I was on Sam Frost's season. But then in terms of the editing, same thing, just drama. Like, they don't show the girls actually getting on and, you know, having great, like, banter and all of that. It's always just like, after having espresso martinis, talking crap to each other. So
yeah, oh, absolutely. You know, there was one night where we were at the rodeo event, and this is the other thing that happens. You've got a 2-drink policy, but the bartenders after 20 minutes just happen to leave their post. And so all the guys not knowing entertainment business, they were like, oh, they're like, Wrigley, this is sick. Like, the bartenders have gone. Like, we can go and get as much as we want. I said, oh, you think that's a mistake? Like, okay, yeah, they've got an RSA, but they're leaving the bar for anyone to walk up to. That's interesting, isn't it? And anyway, the point of what I'm saying is, there was a night where one of my girls, she had helped herself to the open bar.
Oh, and she wasn't good.
And she said something silly about one of the other girls. Whether you want to say it was pressure by the producers, because they do pressure you a lot.
Yeah,
you know
for sure,
that.
especially if you had drinks, yeah.
And so, anyway, this got said about a certain other girl. It was brought up at the dinner the next night, and, you know, they showed that drama. They didn't show the day after that where this one girl took the other one aside and apologised, cried her eyes out, and said, I was drunk, I was silly, I was listening to what the producers were telling me to say, like, I really regret saying it, you're not this, you're not a bad person. If that means I need to leave right now, I'll leave.
Yeah.
They don't show that. They don't show the actual humanity.
The reality is, they're making a TV show and they've got 30 minutes to put in there, so they need it to be like, you know, cliffhanger juice. So pros and cons to it though, but obviously a great launching pad for you for a bit of buzz.
I don't know. I think, look, what a lot of people... I got hammered online. I really got hammered online. Oh,
why?
Yeah. Everybody had the fact that I am not just a farmer that lives my whole life looking at dirt, and I've actually got a career on the outside. And what people don't realise is, yeah, sure, I'm not stupid. I know that there's publicity involved, and it was maybe going to get me a few extra fans, but I had to put my music career on hold for about 14, 15 months.
Yeah.
Which in a way completely reset me. You know, I was building a lot of momentum. I'd said no to The Voice. I'd said no to Idol for 4 years in a row. And I finally decided to say yes to Farmer, because I thought, you know what, I've been single for a few years. I'm not helping myself, so maybe Channel 7 can. And I understood that it was going to be, I had to get off the road. My band, I had to go and put them in other bands for a while so that they'd still make income. So not only did my career come to a halt, my whole source of income came to a halt for more than a year.
Yeah.
But what I do think Farmer did for me, you put the relationship aside and the mateships aside, what Farmer actually did for me was provided me a purpose I didn't know I needed, and that is to stand as a voice for agriculture and Australian agriculture.
Yeah.
Because right now, there's such a divide between our cousins in the city who just aren't educated about what life on the land really entails.
Yeah.
You know, we've got governments who couldn't care less about...
Except for Bob Catters.
No, well, yeah, he's a good one. Whether you like him or not, which... By the way, I love Bob Catters.
I love Bob Catters too.
He's so good.
I love him.
I met him a couple of weeks ago.
So I'm friends with his granddaughter.
Oh, true.
And they have a big property up in Queensland as well. That's where I went stag hunting. But I just think he's like, it's so funny because my mum like politically is completely opposite to Bob, but she loves him.
Yeah.
She just loves him.
He's a character. I'll tell you a story. When I met him, So the boys and I were up in Mount Isa, which is in
So that's
Queensland.
his country.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is pretty much, they should just rename it Bob Catter's Mountain. But anyway, I was up there and we had just sound checked, and Bob was invited to come along. Bob was invited to come along and watch our sound check. And he got there and we were having a chat. And for the first time, I've had a belt. This is my work belt. It's my favourite belt. I wear it everywhere, but it's got this knife pouch on the side. It's a bit of a pain in the ass when you have to go through airports.
Yeah.
For the first time in 2 years, I decided to wear a brand new one, the exact same belt, just without the pouch, that I've had for 2 years. First time I wore it, and it's obviously very new. So Bob Catter proceeded to absolutely take the piss out of me for 10 minutes.
You're like a city cowboy is what he thought.
Because he saw my work belt that had never been worked in, and oh, did he give it to me. He unloaded.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad we both agree on Bob because he's like one of my favourite human beings.
He's a living legend.
He is a legend.
And he just, he understands certain things. Whether you want to...
The thing is, he's not dumb. He knows exactly what he's doing and who he's representing, and he's like not afraid to have an opinion.
Absolutely.
Oi! Stop. So I've actually been looking at buying land myself, and it's made me realise how important it is to have the right lender. And that's why I love what Rural First are doing. They specialise in land and rural financing, and they even invest back into rural communities, which I personally love. So if you're curious, like I am, go and check them out at ruralfirst.com. Loans subject to credit approval and eligibility. Additional terms and conditions may apply.
Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal housing lender.
Rural First is a registered trademark of Farm Credit Mid-America, NMLS 407249. Rural First products are available to consumers within the territories of participating farm credit system associations. Okay, so you're over here. You played yesterday, did you, or the day before?
I did. Well, I've played a few times now.
Okay.
Yesterday was my first actual CMA Fest performance.
Yeah.
But I've taken part in the Sounds of Australia event, the Aussie Barbecue event. I've done a few co-writes so far. And it's just been absolutely wonderful.
Who have you met since you've been here or like worked with that you're excited about? Like songwriting, have you written with anyone that you
Look, there's a few.
You can't say.
But I probably can't say just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're leaving on Wednesday, right?
I'll leave next Wednesday.
Fly home?
Fly home, and then I'm actually, when I get home, I've got one festival to play in Western Queensland. Then I'll spend a couple of weeks writing, rehearsing, and recording, and then I'm taking part in the Great Australian Cattle Drive.
Oh, cool. So tell us about that. What's going to happen?
So the Great Australian Cattle Drive, for those who don't know, it's a 45-day long cattle drive or cattle muster, whatever you want to call it, and it goes from Longreach all the way down through Barking and all that to Roma is where it ends up. And it's all for charity. It all goes back to Australian agriculture. It's just a bunch of ringers getting in the saddle and pushing cattle for 45 days. And so they asked me, whilst I was here actually, they asked me if I would perform for them at the end of it, like the celebration, and perform for all the drivers. And obviously I said yes, it'd be a massive privilege to be part of that, but I gave them a condition.
If I can be in it.
If I can be in the saddle and help out.
That's cool.
So I'm pretty damn excited, you know. Since I won Star Maker in January, I've only been home for 4 days. Mm-hmm. So I'm incredibly excited to just be in the saddle looking at the back of a beast for however long, you know?
Yeah. Enjoy it while you are single and don't have kids, because that gets tough as soon as you start to have kids, that's for sure.
Well, look, I don't think I have to worry about that for a while.
Oh, you never know. I'm
not doing myself any
the day
favors.
is young. You still got a couple of days here. You might meet the love of your life while you're here. You never know. She might be watching this right now.
Look, she might be.
She might be related to one of these folks out here.
If you hunt, you know how easy it is to lose track of where you are, especially around property lines. That's why here at Country Outdoors, we only use Onyx Hunt, the #1 hunting app. It shows public and private boundary lines, so you always know where you stand. We use it for scouting, marking spots, and even navigating. It just takes the guesswork out of everything. If you want to hunt smarter this season, go check out Onyx Hunt at onyxmaps.com and know where you stand. Country Outdoors is proud to partner with Yingling, the oldest brewery in America since 1829 and the official light lager of the outdoors.
Before we leave, I've got a couple questions here for you. Let me just make sure I've got...
Actually, no, I've got something for you, actually. I've got You gave me some merchandise. I apologize, it's nothing big, but this is all I've got over here in America. No, not a pick. These are... get the
money
right
clips.
here. No, they're hat clips.
Hat clip.
They go on your hat.
Oh, yeah.
Have a look at them. There you go.
Very nice. Oh, I'll take a pink one. I used to have the from CMC the cattle tags, and I've got a million of those.
Yeah.
Ear tags for my Akubra.
Yeah, well,
That's cool.
I always wanted to do cattle tags, but I started seeing people and they have a million of them on the hat, and it starts to look real tacky.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
When I found out about these, I was like, you know what, that's pretty classy.
That is cool.
And it's classy.
Yeah.
You know, you can just chuck it on your side or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I like it.
The boys
it
and
could
I
also
normally...
be a money clip, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could be. So I like it's versatile. You're
Absolutely.
a businessman. You're an ideas man. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got some questions here for you.
I'm reading them?
Yep, you're going to read them out to us.
Well, thank God Mum and Dad sent me to a private school because I sing hillbilly music. They're obviously real happy with the money spent. Biggest challenge you've had to overcome? Biggest challenge I've had to overcome, what, in my career or just in life?
Just in life in general. It could be career, it could be...
You know, I don't want to say this and sound ungrateful or negative towards any members of my family or my friend group or anything, but I don't come from a creative background. I come from a background of farmers and tradies.
Yeah.
And so having been born creatively talented and knowing that that's what I wanted to do my whole life, I have quite literally had to fight tooth and nail every day just to prove that I can actually do it. You know, and on top of that, I can do it, sing hillbilly music and be a hillbilly in the scrub at the same time. That's probably been the most challenging thing, but the most rewarding thing at the same time, because now I know how to back myself.
For sure. I can relate to that a lot as well. I had a lot of close people to me tell me I was chasing clouds and I would never have any success. And I just had to prove them wrong, you know.
Absolutely.
And now they're some of my biggest supporters. But I think the thing is as well, it's a bit unusual at home, like for people to go out into the creative arts. It's not that common.
No.
And so, but I hope that they get in your corner and see, especially after this trip, wow, he's really doing it. So.
Oh, and don't get me wrong, they definitely have.
No, I get it.
It's taken a while.
I get it though.
They do understand it, but every now and then my father does use the whole, why don't you get a real job?
All right, princess.
All right, Dad. You go back and work your 30-hour day.
Yeah.
Favorite outdoor memory? Oh, probably can't say that one. You know what? I think one of my, you know what? No, my favorite outdoor memory, I would have to say, is when we were filming Farmer, and after the 24-hour solo date that I brought Chloe, who ended up being my partner, I pretty much chose the moment I met her that was going to be who I chose. But after our 24-hour solo date at home had come to an end, and the other girls came out, the producers asked me if I could go and muster sheep to show girls what farm life is all about, and they wanted them wearing heels, and I cracked the shits and said it's snake season. You're not making girls wear heels in a paddock.
They wanted them to wear heels.
They wanted them to wear heels.
That's bad.
And I did the whole OH&S. You know, they need to be wearing long sleeve shirts and
also just not break their ankles.
Absolutely. But anyway, then because I had the whole OHS, crack up at them, they had it at me, so I wasn't allowed to ride a quad or a bike or a horse. So we had to muster a whole 600-acre paddock on foot. But you know what? It made for a pretty damn good time. I got to know the girls pretty well in that little time, and it was a really weird way to muster, but I had a great time doing it.
Awesome. I'm going to ask you one last question. What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered, obviously for music. That is, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to become a successful musician. And I'm going to use that success to buy back family property. But what I want to be remembered for is having made an impact in the Australian agricultural sector. That's what I want to be remembered by.
Great answer.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.
You know, a lot of us grew up with Field and Stream, dreaming about our next cast, our next hunt, and our next outdoor escape. So
So join the 1871 Club today and head to fieldandstream.com/1871club.
Right here we all thank heaven for God's grocery store.